So since Valentine's Day 2023, Big Finish have been giving us a series of Torchwood love stories, because there's nothing more romantic than alien invasions, apparently. We had The Last Love Song of Susie Costello, Thirst Trap, and now we've got Launch Date. So this trilogy is basically a series finale of Torchwood, as the monthly range is taking a break for a couple of months while Torchwood does its Among Us storyline, which starts in a couple of weeks' time on Big Finish Productions. So we've got Launch Date, which stars Gareth David Lloyd as Yanto, who is essentially working as a behind-the-scenes matchmaker for this Cardiff couple. So you've got Geraint, I massively apologise for messing up any Welsh pronunciations of names. I'm probably going to get it all wrong. So we've got Geraint, played by Jonathan Hawkins, and Chrissy, played by Gemma Knight-Jones, in a story written by Aaron Lamont. Geraint bumps into Chrissy one night at a pub, where he's also joined by Yanto one night, and Yanto decides to go behind their backs to make sure that they meet each other. He sends Geraint to the shop that Chrissy works at in order to get him biscuits. He then also sabotages Chrissy's car so that Geraint has to give her a lift home. All the while, there's some weird behind-the-scenes alien invasion plot happening in the background. Geraint works as a maintenance man for an arms manufacturer based in Cardiff, which have got this group of drones which apparently do not like humans very, very much. And it seems that Yanto, playing matchmaker for these two Cardiff strangers, is part of him stopping that alien invasion plan. Anyway, after a particularly successful date night where Yanto sorted them out at a restaurant, the two ended up getting food poisoning. So Yanto meets up with Geraint the next day, as he's playing rugby, to do a little bit more investigating and sleuthing. Here's a clip from Launch Date.
What are you doing?
Oh, give it a rest. I'm dying here, fellas.
Geraint, over here.
Yanto? What are you doing here?
Well, you did say I should come along sometime.
You'll get mud all over your suit.
Nah, seen worse. Look, I've got a favour to ask.
Oh, yeah? No more biscuits.
Scrum machine. Think I can borrow it?
Why?
Helping out, coaching the old school team.
Coaching? You? Are they really that desperate?
I'll have you know I was the first squad winger.
Am I supposed to be impressed?
So, can I? The scrum machine.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Give us a hand then. I want to check something.
What are you planning to do with it?
Fix it to the car.
You're a proper little sadist. Kids will never move that.
So, any more news about this date?
Called her earlier. Both a bit green.
Dodgy tapas? Sorry about that. Hey, wait. I thought you weren't supposed to use your phone at work.
Just the once. What harm can it do? It's weird, though, isn't it? Meeting like that. Then her car being out of whack.
It's called serendipity.
How much farther?
Oh, car's not far, just over there. Oh. Come on, give it a bit more welly.
Oh, leave it out.
Basically, Launch Date is just a nice little story where Yanto is playing unconventional matchmaker to these couples. Now, I think that the casting is really, really strong. Like I said, you've got Jonathan Hawkins and Gemma Knight-Jones, who do seem to have like genuine chemistry with each other. It's a romance that you are rooting for over the course of this 50-minute story. And honestly, I don't have too much to say about it. I think that Gareth David Lloyd, he doesn't have that much to do in terms of like actual physical presence in the story. He gets a really great final scene which sort of sums up everything that he's trying to do in Torchwood, generally speaking. But the actual story itself is so much on the back burner that you are basically just following this love story, and then all of a sudden, potential alien invasion at the end. And I think that was the intention. And I like that it did that. It just means that there's not an awful lot for me to say about the story, if that makes sense. I will never not love just how unashamedly Welsh Torchwood is. Oh yeah, 100%. It was interesting in the behind the scenes that Aaron Lamont did the interview saying that there weren't that many working class romance stories that he could draw from. I think the closest thing he was able to look at in terms of inspiration was like Mike Leigh films, and I really appreciate what he was going for there, trying to tell a story of a maintenance worker at an arms manufacturer and a shop assistant. They fall in love because some posh Welsh guy who's working for a extraterrestrial investigation organisation based in Cardiff really wants them to get together in order to help him stop the end of the world. It's a really cool premise. It gets across the premise admirably. I enjoyed it for the duration that it was on. It was short but sweet. I actually think it might have been better if this one had dropped first, if this one had been the Valentine's Day release, because it seems like the most, it seems the most fluffy, it seems the most wear its heart on its sleeve, and I'm not saying that in like a bad way for the other releases. This has been a really fun, eclectic trilogy of Torchwood love stories, but this is the one where it's most like, okay, this is a love story first and foremost that happens to have the Torchwood label on it. And the other ones are like a darker character piece with Susie Costello and a bromance procedural comedy with like a Black Mirror twist in Thirst Trap. Launch Date is the one that seems to wear its heart on its sleeve for the most part. It's fun, it's fluff, cast are great, the writing's witty. I enjoyed how it set up these elements like the Scrum Machine that you heard in that clip that pays off later on. It's a story that I think would benefit from multiple listens, where you can see what Ianto was trying to do once you have the entire picture, and you can be like, oh, so that's why he did what he did in that shop, that's why he made them eat at that restaurant, that's why, etc, etc. I think it's really, really solidly done. It's a solid release. If this goes on sale in the near future, it's a really easy recommendation. But of course, you know, for £9 or £11 if you get the CD, it's a little bit steep just for a release on its own. And that's kind of how I have to approach these releases sometimes. It's a good release, not a great one. It's fun. I had a fun time with it. Maybe get this when it's on sale. I want to try and give each release its due, want to try and make sure that I get the most out of it and I'm able to tailor these reviews as much as I can, but sometimes you are just going to come across stories where, you know, I enjoyed it. I just don't know if it's worth full price. I don't regret my time with it, if that makes sense. Theo, can you not attack the microphone? I like it. I do like it. I just don't want this to be a 3-minute review where I say, yeah, that was because I feel like I should give the reviews and these stories a little bit more their due, but sometimes that's just what happens. I definitely want to hear more from Aaron Lamont. I know that he's done another Torchwood release called Lease of Life, which starred Bern Gorman as Owen Harper. That was from a couple of years ago now. So I definitely want to hear more from Aaron. I think he's got a great ear on him. I think that he's got a great ear for dialogue, and I want to hear more of that.